All right, it's day 159. We left our stealth campsite. We stopped at the Carter Ridge Hut, got some water. All the other people are inside eating breakfast. We had breakfast at the tent. And now we're walking up a mountain. The cool thing about, interesting thing about this mountain is it's, we got to hike up like 0.2 miles, and it's over 500 feet. That's nuts. Well, here we go. All right, we've reached the top of Carter Dome. No view, but they say it's the top. So, all right, so the weird thing is, I think we just climbed up about 1,000 feet to the top of Carter Dome. It's been real steep, like almost crazy steep at many places. It was just unrelenting. It never really flattens out where you can get a rest. It just keeps going up and up and up. So the weird thing, for the past 2 months, my legs have gotten weaker. I was having trouble climbing up. Even after 10 or 20 feet, I'd have to stop. And I knew something was wrong, and it got worse. And so about, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we started just trying to shove in as many calories and protein as I could. So one day is not proof of anything, but today I never stopped, just kept going up. I feel great. I feel like I can keep going. So it's really big. I mean, I was worried about whether I could finish this thing, and now I feel pretty good. Again, it's just one day. Yesterday was a really bad day, but I felt like I really hadn't recovered from our trip on Mount Washington. Even two 0 days, I could barely stand. I had to get on my knees and hands to stand up one point because my legs were just not strong enough to push me up. But today I feel great. So for whatever reason, yeah, I'll take it, right? We'll see if it continues. Just cross my fingers and hope that it does. All right, we had just summited South Carter Mountain, and we're now hiking up to the top of Middle Carter Mountain. Next up is North Carter Mountain, and then our last mountain, Mount Mariah. So at the top of South Carter was really awesome. I turned and there was a hiker there with her dog, and I'm like, oh. And it turned out to be the hiker formerly known as Clementine, the one that we had introduced and met back in Georgia. Well, all right. Speaking of sketch, which I wasn't, but let's somehow get down this. Yeah, that's pretty sketchy. I was gonna say that none of this has been that sketchy until we hit the descend from North Carter. Now I got to do this. Let's mention one concern I have going forward, that as these leaves drop, it could be a problem. I know that there's a few trails around where I live that in the fall, it's really kind of difficult to walk because the leaves get so thick in the trail that they cover up all the roots and rocks. And so you just don't, you have to kind of feel your way down the hill. And yeah, we may be running into that, but I hope not. All right, so speaking of extended tramilies, we just ran into Mosey from Risa Rome's, and yeah, that was pretty cool. She's headed south on her journey, and we're headed north. But the last time we saw Mosey, we gave her some trail magic. I think she was in need of some cheering up, and hopefully we did that too. This time, turns out, she was in need of some cash, because you need money to stay in the shelters here. Not a lot. And she thought she had it, and she didn't. And so both Buzz and I were thrilled to give her some cash to help her stay, give her enough to stay at the shelters, and pick up some foods at the huts. I know I assume she's just going down to Pinkham Notch. So yeah, that should be enough for her. Hopefully that's it all works out. Anyways, so we just saw the hiker formerly known as Clementine, and we just saw Mosey. So and it's a small hiker world. I'll tell you that the other night on our zero, we went out to a pizza place in Gorham, New Hampshire. And as we walked in, there was a guy sitting at a table. He starts waving frantically at me, and I'm looking around behind me going like, me? What? Turns out it's Frosty. It's Frosty, who I featured on our YouTube channel back in Georgia in the very early days. Yeah, so Frosty had to get off trail, but he's going back on trail now. And he's actually mentioning maybe we could hike together some of it, back in Virginia. So anyways, small world between Frosty, Mosey, and the hiker formerly known as Clementine. I wish I remember her new name. I'll post it. All right, we're getting near the top of Mount Mariah. It's one of the viewpoints on the trail up. The trail up has a lot of these just large slanted rock slabs, which are grippy, so you can just walk right up them. And it's so welcome. Man, it's hot. I mean, it's 75, but carrying this pack and hiking the mountain is hot. But I get to this point, and there's this cool breeze. That's just awesome. So there's little things, right? Oh, dear God. Whew. Almost to the top of Mariah. Man, I was going to say that Mount Mariah is in the bag, but I can't because apparently you have to take this Blue Blaze up to the top, 0.1 miles, and I'm fighting to try to be back on the meet the van before dark, which is not going to happen, but we're trying to lessen the amount of hiking we do in the dark, so we don't have time to do any extra stuff. So yeah, some other time. But the important thing is all 4 mountains are now been done, and now we just descend down to the road. It's a ways, but it's all going to be mostly descending. And again, we're going to try to fight the clock a little bit. So update on our fight to finish before dark. That seems to be such a common thing now with the days getting shorter. Well, we thought for sure we're going to finish in the dark and do a lot of the trail in the dark. But the trail is actually, we did pretty good on the descent. And now the trail is opened up into a pretty easy trail. I mean, it's got rocks and stuff, but, we can actually cruise pretty fast. And I don't know what my average is right now, but I think it's pretty good. Anyways, I got 2.7 miles to go. And I've got 2 hours and 15 minutes. Rocking into branches. 2 hours and 15 minutes of daylight left. 1 hour and 15 minutes of daylight left. So, if I can get near 2.8, maybe even 3 miles per hour, we'll be fine. But we may finish just about the same point where we need to pull out headlamps. Or we may just need headlamps for a little bit. So it's all good. Just don't want to do night hikes on sketchy areas or crossing rivers or that kind of stuff. So, yeah. This should be about 3 or 3.1 miles per hour, I think. Oops. Oh. This is almost absurd. I think we've crossed the same river now 3 times. We're crossing back over it. Yeah. All right. Over 15 miles, 3,000 feet of ascent, over 6,000 feet of descent, and I'm jogging at the end of the day. Not to flex too hard, but not bad for a 66-year-old dude, right? I think it's good. I'm kind of proud of myself.